Yeah, so I wasn't expecting that weigh-in. Obviously, we put water back in yesterday, put sodium back in on all meals. I think the main thing was putting the water back in, to be honest. And then like 400 gram of carbs, I would have thought this morning I'd be back up like 4 or 5 pounds, just as like a recompensation effect. Talking like Joe. Mainly I think I would have thought from putting the water back in and some salt and stuff, just kind of like coming out the other side of dropping 7 pounds. I thought most of that would come back on, so a bit weird. That either means I'm going to be absolutely peeled for tomorrow's shoot if we just do, because we were planning to just do exactly what we did the day before the first shoot, so 80 protein a meal, and just veg, and just cruise in, cut water, cut sodium. But I'm going to wait for Joe to get up before I eat anything. I'm just going to the shop to get some squash for my water. So I'll wait for him to get up, get further instruction. But yeah, last day. Tomorrow we shoot, and then we fucking eat, which is going to be good. So I'll do all that for tomorrow. So Joe's shown me the present he's got me, which is food. Ovs, some custom brownies from Brooklyn Brownie Co. I'm going to put their Insta handle in the description of tomorrow's video. You need to check them out. Fuck me, I felt the box and it was like a fucking dumbbell. It was so heavy. It's like 5 kilo of fucking brownies. So that'll be fun to get through. So 10k challenge in an hour. But yeah, I'll catch you in a bit. Meal 1 going down. 75 gram of protein from chicken, 500 gram of veg, 3 grams salt, and some sauce. So I spoke to Joe once I got back from the shop and was like, yeah, we both weren't expecting that weigh-in at all, because you'd expect a bit of a super compensation effect. Hello, Hunter. From the water coming back in, sodium, food. I ate really late last night as well, which is unlike me. So, oh, bless you. Just show you. Hunter's come to. Oh my god. Ow, bastard. So me and Joe said, well, let's just be fucking super peeled for tomorrow. Because instead of, potentially put this in and put some carbs in or whatever, I'd rather be way more peeled. Not way more. Okay. I'd rather be more peeled and a little bit flat than full and not looking as lean. So we're just literally going to do exactly the same as what we did the day before the last one. So 5 mils of this, essentially, water until 3, cut that off, sodium in just 2 mils. Yeah, we'll go again. So yeah, I'm excited. Get this day done and I'll chat to you in a bit. Same again, sure. So I'm not really going to show the rest of my meals for the day because they're all the same. After this, it will be no salt and no sauce, essentially. Cut water at 3. So I'm going to think of something we can cover today. I think me and Joe, yeah? That we can go into a little bit of a 5-minute video on a topic. And we'll also be doing an Instagram live at 7:30, so I'm going to record some of the questions we're getting in. I would say fire your questions over, but when I upload this, we would have already done it. That was pointless. So yeah, I'm going to eat this. We're going to have a think about what we can discuss a little bit on today. About probably the peak and how we're going to go about reversing probably out of it. I say reversing. See what we do next week, essentially. Yeah.
Could we talk about female hormonal birth control?
And we could talk about...
This is for all the people on the YouTube. For all the females watching, this is probably no, because you're going to upload this tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah.
I was going to say this is going to. I'm also playing this game in the background. Hold tight, anyone that plays RuneScape. Yeah. Play it while I do my work. Any females out there that use birth control, hormonal birth control that is, and you want to know how it affects your body composition, check out joejeffreycoaching.com. I haven't bought that domain name yet. I'm planning to do it today, so hopefully it's available. If it isn't, go on my Instagram, it'll be on there.
Yeah, it'll be on there. So
That didn't go very well. But...
bit of an input from Joe there. So yeah, I'm gonna eat this meal and chill out. More check-ins. Done. So 3 lads on tour. I think I'm gonna be in the shop. Yeah. So we're gonna do a quick Q&A that we got sent through on my Instagram. Not gonna do a long one here. Just gonna answer most of them. So go back to the first one.
Should we do
From the bottom up?
from the bottom up?
Yeah, I'll tell you which ones we should do and which ones we shouldn't. First one, Brad Wheeler, 97, current client of mine. Yo, what's up? What's poppin'? What do you look for when taking on a client? Should you do answers from both?
Yeah.
Willing to actually do what the person says, because you get a lot of people that are like, they come for obviously help. They've come to you for a reason, and then you're sending them their stuff, and it's like, oh well, I don't think I should do that, or they're like questioning it without even trying it for a start. That pisses me off, and just adherence. That's all I look for really. Is it like, okay, I had a check-in this morning, and on his accuracy to plan, every single day was a 10. And I was just said to him, like, thanks. Like, because I'm getting a few people that are just like, all this quarantine, I can't be, all this, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm lacking motivation. His answer was, why wouldn't it be a 10 out of 10 when I've got fuck all else to do and this is what I want to do? Perfect. That's it.
Yeah. I think it's changed over the years. I think if I was going to do... Oh, no, I'm not going to let any of these get into some long shit. Really, like, now, what do I look for in a client? Primarily, the people that come to me are already serious trainees that have been doing this for a long time anyway. So, big goals that are really interesting for me to work on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What was above that? And looking for a long-term relationship. It's very rare that I won't work with someone for 2-3 years plus. It's very rare that I wouldn't work with someone that doesn't want to do something. Well, no, because every coach gets inquiries from just about everyone, don't they? But in terms of like...
And you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But in like, who I would take on would be someone that I feel like that would be a challenge, or they have a really big goal that's exciting. So that's probably the main things, yeah.
Next one from John Gill. Biggest troll on Instagram. If you've ever watched our Insta Live, well, Joe's Insta Live with Jazz, constant questions. I get questions from him every day, mostly bullshit. I don't mind answering this one. Favourite meal when dieting? Cream of rice, whey, fruit, and some sort of fat sauce, normally almond butter or dark chocolate. You're probably going to say the same.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I didn't have any fats with my cream of rice meal on my last diet, so that was my favourite meal on my last diet. The cream of rice with dark frozen mixed berries, the Aldi mixed berries and
dark mixed fruit.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that is good.
It would be nice with the dark chocolate on.
I might have some of that dark fruit tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got.
Yeah. What made you pick Joe as a coach? To be honest, like I was going back and forth with a couple of people at the time and stuff, and to be honest, it's mainly the knowledge and what I was going to learn through the process over everything. Like, I always say this about people don't come to me because of my physique at all. And it's the same, and it's not me, it's
for my physique, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's the knowledge and the amount that he puts into learning about absolutely fucking everything. Like, I've been with him the last 4 days, 4 days, whatever. All he does is fucking research all day, and he's not stopping doing that. And it's like, man, it's because I know I can put it into my application to clients to them as well, and kind of just progress that way. And the fact that I know he can get people in shape, but I went to him more so just as a we already knew
We
each
were
other as
mates
well.
anyway,
We were
weren't
good
we?
friends
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
And someone to just take the reins and keep me stress free, which is done.
Yeah, you didn't need a lot of input in terms of like me knowing anything.
Yeah.
You seemed like some accountability and stuff, but it's favourable now that you've launched yourself as a coach, because we can consult on stuff and, and it makes the process a lot easier, right?
That was from average AL_HL. He's always got a different Instagram name. I can't remember what it was before, but he's sound. Robbie Cresswell host, same question, what made you invested to Joe as a coach? By the way, you've both killed it. Love watching it. Safe. Mr_off, one of my clients.
I thought it said sloth.
We can call him that. Great guy. What is the biggest obstacle you both face as coaches? P.S. Big love from Melton John. Body fat's melting every week.
Oh, is that your pet name for him?
Yeah.
Cute.
Biggest obstacle?
I'd say mine's changed over the year. When I first started coaching, it was mostly like gym pop people. It was just adherence. That was it, and which isn't a big obstacle. Now it's probably problem solving, but that's the part of coaching that I relish the most. So because, like I said, I'm mostly working with people that are maybe in difficult positions or have goals that require a bit more
In-depth.
thought. Yeah, it's more so, problem solving what's going on further downstream. So that's probably it at the minute. Which it's not an obstacle. It's just more time consuming.
We won't do that one.
You haven't answered that one.
Oh, biggest obstacle. So, for me, sometimes to understand that not everyone's like me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've got so much better at that now. Just being like, look, I understand you also have a life outside of bodybuilding. I don't really.
Yeah, me and Austin did a podcast on this years ago. You'll notice this without even trying it. As you become a coach, you'll have a way of talking to every client that makes them work.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Because some people I can absolutely go hard on and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, book your fucking ideas up. And they respond well to it. If I say that to some people, they'll start crying.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of nurture it. But you learn that. We won't do that one because how much volume per week are you and Joe doing for body parts?
I don't even know.
No, neither do I.
One set.
I don't want to do that. I just can't be asked to slate. I mean, there's no point. Yeah, I'm not going to slate that person. I've done that. I've spoke to him in person. What are benefits of controlling salt, sodium, and the effects, etc. at this point of the diet? I mean, when you said it, when I asked you that, it could take fucking hours to go through.
Well, salt, sodium. I mean, there's benefits of controlling electrolyte intake and electrolyte balance year round. Multiple health benefits, all the way from controlling blood pressure right down to controlling erectile dysfunction to nutrient partitioning, tons of stuff. But right now we're not necessarily looking for electrolyte balance. Maybe something quite the opposite in that we're using electrolytes to potentiate the diuretic effect with fluid balance, electrolyte balance, and drive excretion of fluid by manipulation of fluid and sodium potassium. So basically we are using them to get Christian as dry as possible without the need for the use of a pharmaceutical diuretic.
Yeah, because fuck that. That was from Kieran67. I hope that answers a little bit because it's going to be 20 minutes on that question. One Ben Cook, again, pretty much the same question. What are you using to manage 10 litres of water regarding electrolytes, sodium, salt, and how important is it?
Yeah, you're not doing 10 litres. We were doing 7.5 litres with relatively higher amounts of sodium, potassium. Remember, magnesium and calcium come into the picture as well. But without going into them, we were doing 8 grams of sodium and 8 grams of potassium. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. Really simple. I know that Christian works well with that ratio. Most people work well with a little bit more potassium than sodium in my experience, or a 1-to-1 ratio. It's pretty rare that it would be the other way.
I've been doing, throughout even
you've been mostly 1-to-1.
The diet, and it's been like 3 gram.
Yeah, you've been mostly 1-to-1. Yeah, you were, all sources accounted for, about 5,000 milligrams of both sodium and potassium. Then we did a small bump to 8 through the peak, and then potentially all we've done there is stagger, cutting off water with a slight increase in fluid over a certain time period with a rapid drop off, but sodium So always remember the rule: water follows sodium. If you're going to do something like this, that's the rule. You do it a few hours.
And just know that if you're asking for now, this sort of stuff is only going to manipulating all this sort of stuff is only going to make a difference when you're lean.
Yeah, it won't. It might just make you look. Well, probably just make you look worse.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do something like that, like hire someone that understands human physiology and can do it without any unnecessary dangers.
Cool. I think that's covered that really. Incredibly handsome and humble. Great name. Always ask a good question. I quite think this is quite a good question actually, because people do worry about sugar. Thoughts on sugar being 50+% of total carb intake. Is it negative? In brackets, mostly fruit sources. Well, okay, I'm going to shout something out now. Every single meal in my off season, when I was pushing it, every single carb meal now has fruit in it. Every single one has 20 gram at least from 20 gram carbs at least from fruit. But I'll hand that over to you, man.
A lot of the clinical data where you see these like epidemiological studies where they have higher intakes of sugar that correlate to greater populations experiencing obesity and stuff. When the rubber hits the road, it's not necessarily mediated by sugar. It's usually lack of fibre intake accompanying the sugar. Really downstream, all glucose, all that we're looking at is fructose and glucose content that's going to be partitioned to a cell somewhere. You're just going to, for keeping it very basic, you're going to need to ensure sufficient fibre, micronutrient, phytonutrient, antioxidant, polyphenol content with your carb sources, and you'll be fine. I wouldn't focus on sugar or worry about that in the context of a mostly whole food nutrient dense diet. But if you were proposing, like, is it a problem if I mostly eat processed food with that's fibre and micronutrient devoid and high processed sugar? Yes, probably a problem. They're very pro-inflammatory foods with a lack of nutrient density. But just high sugar in the context of an otherwise nutrient dense diet isn't a concern.
Well, being as the guy's saying mostly fruit sources,
yeah, I wouldn't
worry about it at all. There's only really one more question, and I actually think it's from a bot, but it's actually quite a good question. What three things do you think of most each day?
The most of?
It's going to sound sad though, probably.
Probably just like, well, the first thing I think of is, well, no, I don't know, this is hard, it's not the first thing, is it? Things that I think of the most.
Yeah, in a day.
Probably food.
Yeah, I was going to say bodybuilding.
Yeah, bodybuilding.
Food. And
my wife and my dog.
See, I got no one.
Yeah.
So I'm just selfish as fuck. My progress. Yeah.
That's bodybuilding though.
Okay. Bodybuilding, clients, food.
Okay.
Food is up there.
I think of food a lot, mainly because I'm like, what am I meant to eat now? And stuff.
Yeah, I'm normally, oh, what shall I have now? What am I doing now? What am I doing next meal or whatever? Shall I start making this meal? Whatever. So yeah, that's all the questions really. There wasn't much really to go into today in terms of like what we're doing, because we're just doing exactly the same as what we did the day before the last peak. But I'm also 6 pounds lighter than the start of the last peak.
A lot of that's just because we loaded quite hard and there was quite a bit of fluid that came with it, and then we had to pull off all that fluid. But instead of going like that, we just kind of
little bump and down. We should be a lot drier.
I would think so. Yeah, I think you'll be drier tomorrow. But I don't know if you will. I don't know if you could have even been drier. I think you might end up in the same place, but just a more subtle landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas it was quite drastic landing.
Yeah.
The other day, but it fucking worked. So yeah, I didn't really want to bore you with like just looking at chicken and veg with no salt and sauce. Although it has been good because I've been char grilling the fuck out of it and just burning it. It's actually nice. So I've got one more meal to go, then it'll be bed. Try and get a good sleep. I feel better today than I did the other day because I knew what to expect. Like when I cooked water last time, I felt like a fat bloated mess, and I was like, I've got fat, and then it all started to come off. Whereas I felt like that today, off water. I felt like that today, and I was just like, well, I know that's meant to happen, so I'm not bothered.
So I'm a lot more relaxed. I know the photographer tomorrow very well, so that'll be nice and relaxed. I know where it's going to be, so again, that relaxes me. And I know there's some food at the end of it, so what tomorrow will just be run through the day like we did yesterday. I'll do that. Have a little post-shoot cream of rice bowl, which I'm incredibly excited about. Joe's kind of just said, I don't really care what you eat after. Like, it doesn't matter what amounts.
We just don't want some crazy, like, sodium rebound.
Yeah, we just don't want
to just be
stupid.
Back into slowly hydrating, slowly getting some electrolytes back in there.
Yeah, and then when we get back, I'm going to get back to all my clients first, get my head sorted, because I'll just be a bit knackered, I think. And Sunday's like one of my busiest check-in days, so I need to sort all that when I get back. Then we'll order the food and we'll get some good footage of that. The first bite going down to the pizza.
Have you shown them what?
No, not yet, but we'll do that tomorrow.
Top secret.
Yeah, and then get some Ben and Jerry's in me. Get some brownies in me, and whatever else is fucking knocking around. So yeah, that'll be a good video. So I'm going to end this one here, and we'll chat tomorrow. See you in the morning for the weigh-in, as the usual.
See you later, guys.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.